JIMIN unexpectedly stirred a wave of attention after leaving a witty comment on SUGA's latest photo upload, transforming what seemed to be an ordinary post into a subtle yet captivating moment of public intrigue, as SUGA stood by a softly lit window dressed in a simple linen shirt, the kind of understated elegance that spoke louder than any caption, which in this case was only a quiet emoticon smile, and it was precisely that quietness that allowed JIMIN's sudden appearance in the comment section to take center stage with his remark that read, "Looks like you just woke up from a nap and landed a luxury magazine cover." A line that balanced humor and admiration with JIMIN's characteristic flair, and while many fans chuckled or gasped at the ease of the tease, it was SUGA's unexpected response that turned the post into something far greater than a casual exchange when he replied, "Only if you're the photographer," followed by a simple red heart emoji that sent waves through the fandom with a force that no one saw coming, igniting the comment section with floods of reaction that ranged from delighted squeals to playful frustration, as fans jokingly demanded to know why such chaos had to unfold during work or class hours. And what followed was a rapid resharing of the comment thread across fan accounts and lifestyle pages, complete with screen caps framed in vibrant borders and captions dripping with excitement, all tracking likes and engagement that spiked as rapidly as trending stock, while beyond the noise lay a shared sentiment that this small act of digital intimacy had rekindled something deeper for ARMY, who had been yearning for interaction during the members' military hiatus, and the tenderness in SUGA's reply, a stark contrast to his often reserved persona, seemed to validate the hope that their bond remained as vivid and playful as ever even in absence, with fans quickly spinning theories about whether this was a hint toward an upcoming collaboration, or simply an authentic moment between two close friends. And it didn't take long before media outlets and entertainment commentators joined the chorus, dissecting the nuances of word choice, emoji placement, and the visual mood of the photo itself as part of a broader cultural moment, framing the scene not just as a social media blip, but as a deliberate expression of connection that blurred the line between public persona and private rapport. And as conversations spread from fan forums to lifestyle columns, discussions grew richer with interpretations that imagined JIMIN's comment as part lighthearted roast, part promotional seed, and SUGA's response as a masterclass in nonchalant charm. The type of online dynamic that didn't scream for attention but earned it effortlessly, prompting renewed interest in their personal and professional rhythms, and laying fertile ground for speculative optimism that perhaps a joint project or visual campaign was quietly brewing in the background. And in a climate where content from BTS was limited due to mandatory service, this single thread of interaction became not only a moment of joy but also a signal flare reminding fans of the emotional precision with which these idols continued to communicate. And as the ripple spread wider, touching not just fans but also observers of pop culture dynamics, what emerged was a shared recognition of how such seemingly casual exchanges could serve as both connection and narrative, anchoring the audience in something familiar yet fresh, sincere yet sophisticated, and offering just enough mystery to keep eyes and hearts open for what might come next. The momentum from this simple exchange did not taper off but instead expanded into broader dialogues across various circles of entertainment journalism and online commentary, with some calling it a prime example of how BTS maintains their emotional resonance even during periods of low activity, using minimal interactions to sustain narrative continuity and fan connection. And this time it was particularly noteworthy because of the personalities involved, JIMIN being known for his warm playfulness and SUGA for his measured reserve, making the softness of SUGA's response stand out all the more, drawing attention from cultural analysts who saw the moment as a strategic yet sincere display of group chemistry that transcends performance or promotion. And with lifestyle media picking up the thread, headlines began appearing that mirrored fan excitement but with a touch of editorial polish, ranging from SUGA responds to JIMIN's tease with heart emoji, internet loses it, to a comment and a heart. The gentle power of BTS friendship, each framing the moment as a cultural spark in a media environment often starved of authentic sentiment. And meanwhile fan theories evolved, proposing that the interaction might be the soft rollout of an undisclosed project or simply a well-timed reminder of their bond. And as speculation intensified, so did the emotional investment of the fandom, with some crafting entire visual edits and short animations based on that single comment thread, using it as a canvas to explore deeper narratives of affection, artistry, and mutual support, while others took to long-form posts analyzing the significance of SUGA using a red heart, an uncommon move for him, and drawing parallels to previous moments of rare emotional display. And in all this, what remained most remarkable was the elegance with which the moment unfolded, never forced, never too polished, just natural enough to feel real and just poetic enough to feel unforgettable. As if the two artists were offering a glimpse into their inner circle without really opening the door. And in that delicate balance lay the brilliance of BTS's ongoing impact. The ability to make small things feel monumental, to turn micro-interactions into macro conversations, and to elevate the everyday into moments of shared meaning that linger long. After the screen is turned off and as the days passed, the conversation evolved not into a resolution but into a wider curiosity about how the group, even in separation, manages to create narrative threads that feel continuous and cohesive, raising questions not just about what comes next for SUGA and JIMIN, but about how their creative partnership might manifest in ways that challenge conventional formats. And perhaps that's the real legacy of a moment like this. Not the comment or the heart emoji itself, but the way they ripple through collective consciousness, sustaining engagement not through spectacle but through sincerity, reinforcing once again that connection, when done right, is never about volume but about resonance, and that a single word from the right person at the right time can be more powerful than an entire campaign, as JIMIN and SUGA have quietly, elegantly demonstrated to a world that is always watching, always waiting, and always ready to feel something real. And so the momentum continued not because the moment was engineered to go viral but precisely because it wasn't, and therein lay the artful brilliance of JIMIN and SUGA's interaction. It existed at the intersection of subtlety and sharpness, of familiarity and surprise, in a way that both delighted and disarmed the audience, making it more than just a passing comment and instead a microcosm of the broader BTS phenomenon where intimacy is crafted not with grand gestures but with fragments of presence. And that presence, especially during a time when both artists are technically out of the spotlight due to military service, felt doubly powerful because it reminded fans that connection doesn't always require visibility, that even in the periphery of public attention, BTS continues to cultivate their relationship with fans through a language of nuance and naturalness. And while some entertainment insiders interpreted the exchange as a soft indicator of a shift in media strategy, less focused on massive comebacks and more on carefully placed personal touchpoints, others saw it as a refreshing deviation from the hyper-calculated nature of most celebrity social media, a raw and relatable moment between two longtime friends who understand the value of silence and the weight of a single emoji. And as further analysis emerged in niche pop culture blogs and Korean entertainment podcasts, discussions pivoted to how this specific interaction might influence future digital engagements from BTS, with some predicting that the group, or at least certain members, may lean into these micromoments as a deliberate tactic to maintain fan engagement and cultural relevance while preserving personal privacy. A balance that BTS has long mastered but continues to evolve in increasingly refined ways. And if this was indeed part of a broader play, then it worked impeccably well, as the initial spark between JIMIN and SUGA soon rippled outwards into a wave of fan-generated content. From watercolor style fan art of the imagined photoshoot scenario JIMIN described, to speculative TikToks decoding the layers of sentiment behind the red heart and what it could signify in the lexicon of SUGA's usual emoji minimalism. While on platforms like Twitter and Weverse, discussions turned emotional, with fans reminiscing about earlier moments in the BTS timeline when similar online interactions hinted at bigger stories. Only this time, instead of leading into a comeback or a teaser, the moment stood alone, proud and sufficient, functioning less as a breadcrumb and more as a standalone dessert. A gift dropped into the timeline with no obligation attached. And perhaps that is exactly why it resonated so deeply, because it wasn't trying to sell anything, announce anything, or prepare anyone for anything. It was just presence for presence's sake. A simple exchange that said, "We're still here," and in a world increasingly saturated with performative connection and overproduced content. That kind of genuine. And as the days quietly rolled forward, the digital residue of that single exchange between JIMIN and SUGA refused to fade, instead embedding itself deeper into the collective memory of ARMY and casual observers alike, becoming one of those moments that would inevitably be recalled in retrospectives, timelines, and analysis threads years from now. Not for its drama, but for its subtle power, for how it captured the essence of relational depth in the BTS universe, where gestures are rarely loud, but always meaningful, and in this case, even without new music or an official event, the duo managed to shift the emotional atmosphere of an entire fandom by simply being themselves online. A reminder that personality, authenticity, and timing are still the most influential currencies in the age of overproduced celebrity branding. And as this particular moment matured, it began to take on new forms through the lens of digital creativity, inspiring not only fan art and fictional narratives but also think pieces exploring the psychology of parasocial connection and how small acts from public figures, especially those as emotionally intelligent as BTS, can have disproportionate effects on a community's emotional state, with one lifestyle magazine framing the interaction as a new case study in modern fan intimacy, suggesting that what SUGA and JIMIN did wasn't just banter, but a masterclass in micro-engagement, the art of knowing when to speak and how softly to do it so that the echo carries, and that echo has carried across platforms, across demographics, across languages, uniting fans not in feverish speculation about scandals or secrets, but in a gentle celebration of friendship that feels rare in today's media landscape. And in response, even those who don't typically follow K-pop began to take notice, curious about how 2 words and a red heart could cause such a stir. And upon entering the conversation, many found themselves staying not for the music or the fame, but for the sincerity, for the reminder that fame need not dilute humanity, and that even amidst military service, shifting career priorities, and physical distance, connection endures when it's built on respect and trust. And so the legacy of the comment thread continued to expand, serving as both a balm and a beacon in a fandom landscape that often moves too quickly, demanding new content at every turn. But here, JIMIN and SUGA demonstrated the rare ability to pause time, to make a single frame matter, and while neither followed up the interaction with another post or teaser, that very absence became part of the magic, as if to say that some moments are complete in themselves and require no follow-up, and in that quiet conclusion, the moment attained its place as a touchstone of modern digital intimacy. A small scene in the grand narrative of BTS that stands tall not for what it revealed, but for what it suggested, not for what was said, but for how it was said, and as the fandom continued to breathe in the residue of that single red heart, many were reminded of why they fell in love with BTS in the first place. Not for spectacle, but for sincerity, not for noise, but for nuance, and as new posts appeared, and time inevitably moved on, the JIMIN SUGA comment moment remained untouched, immortal in its lightness, a digital snapshot of 2 artists who, in the quiet spaces between the stages, still knew how to make the world smile. In the end, what lingered wasn't just the content of their words but the feeling they evoked, a kind of affectionate calm that reminded fans of the warmth embedded in even the most unassuming exchanges. And as timelines gradually filled with new distractions and other idols took the stage, this single interaction remained preserved like a delicate thread in the larger tapestry of BTS's story, not loud, not performative, but deeply human, and it is perhaps that very humanness that made it unforgettable, because in an industry where much is curated, here was a moment that felt entirely uncalculated, like 2 friends gently brushing paths in a hallway and the world just happened to catch a glimpse. And so the conversation around it slowed but never truly stopped, resurfacing in quiet moments, in the replies of unrelated posts, in late-night fan discussions about what sincerity looks like in the digital age, and though neither JIMIN nor SUGA acknowledged the uproar that followed, their silence only added to the elegance of it all, as if they knew they had said enough, done enough, and left just the right amount of mystery behind, and that restraint, that intuitive understanding of how much to give and when to pull back, is part of what continues to set them apart, allowing something so simple to carry so much weight. And so, while fans wait patiently for the next chapter, be it a photo, a lyric, a performance, they hold this moment close not as a placeholder, but as a piece of the whole, a gentle reminder that in the world of BTS, even the smallest interactions can hold oceans of meaning, and that true connection, the kind that lasts, is often whispered, not shouted, and when spoken with genuine care, even a comment and a heart emoji can say everything.